Uh, again, Brian Tagnoni. I just got through putting God's Numbers Don't Lie on YouTube, and I put some others under Numbers Don't Lie. I gave you the 10.5, the number that God told me to give you, and I'm just going to explain that real fast. The 10th is the highest number, and 9 is the 10th number. 0 through 9 are your numbers. On our number scale, though, 1 through 9, over and over again are your numbers. If you write down, just go 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9. Just keep writing a long list. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you begin underneath that and just number that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And you keep on going on. 13 will be under number 4. 12 will be under number 3. 3 will be under 12. Or over 12, however. 2 will be 11. And 1 will be 10. Now, the 1, exactly, see, 1 will be where 10 is. Now, God, though, however, is the 10th, because we have 0 through 9 are our numbers. And when you put a 0 there before 1, and then you number that, put that 0 there before that 1 and renumber that, look at every 3, 6, and 9. Every 3, 6, and 9 is going to be 1, 4, 7. Every 3, 6, and 9 will be 1, 4, 7. The 10.5, and this is when you break the number down and bring it back to single digit. The 10.5 is God's center. The 0.5 regulates the truth. It delivers the truth. It is the even divider. It divides the truth evenly between the number. The 0.5. It's God's center, His Son, Jesus Christ. It's the best God had to give. The 10.5, the center of Himself. And that's the 10.5. That's how you stay alive, not bogus worship. Your kindness is as a filthy rag that's been passed through the belly, God says. He said it's not a verse in the Bible, no, it's something God told me to tell you. You don't stop to help people. You pass an offering plate, blood money. You brought the altar into the sanctuary. It says I believe is it in Revelations, or is it in somewhere in Paul's writings, where if you rebuild the temple, you're a transgressor, or rebuild that old system, you're a transgressor by the law. And you have rebuilt the old system. See, they have you bringing in 10%, which wasn't the tithe ever. They have you bringing in 10%. They brought the altar, they put it in the sanctuary where the blood was spilled. 400 years ago, they decided to start passing this plate around and collecting money up in there. Preachers pay themselves just like they were doing when God had to tell them in Malachi, man, you robbed me. He said, how we robbed you, God, in tithes and offerings. He said, bring your tithes and offerings into the storehouse, that way there will be food in my house. They were taking the tithe and selling it and making money with it and paying themselves. You say, well, how's the preacher going to get paid then? You know what? If you're really teaching for God, God's going to take care of you. You know, God created the universe. Okay? And He's still creating. I don't think taking care of one single man there's going to be a problem there. He took care of Elijah pretty well. Fed him with ravens, right? The ravens brought him meat and bread. These preachers want pats on the back. They want to sit in the best seats. They want admiration. They know nothing about God, and they're denying this number. The 8th day, day of blood, day of sacrifice, is Satan's day. See, it's the 1st and the 8th day that comes after 7. And when we were discussing the 10.5 and 14 being 1-5, 1-4 is 1-5. 1-4, Jesus Christ that came to be a 4 through Judah, is 1-5, is one truth. And he obtained that 0.5 by following the truth to the letter. And added that 0.5 to that 4 that it came out of. Right? Also being that he was raised in Judah, or born to Judah and raised in Zebulun, 10th son, and the 4th son. That's 1-4, and that's 5. They're not seeing God's truth, his sword, his pure language. Is to be a help. Satan established a new rest, a new day. You party on Saturday, on God's Sabbath day, when Jesus Christ was still in the ground, still in the grave, stuck in that cave, and then you celebrate, or you have a solemn assembly on Sunday. You establish a new rest. Christ rested on the day his Father rested. The entire day he was dead that day. He got up over the 8th day, and it was the 1st month and the 8th day. Sunday is the 8th day. It comes after 7. On top of that, it was also the 17th, and 1-7 on our number scale falls on 8. That was 2 8s. Maybe you've been looking in your Bible at the 1-2-8 combinations, chapter 8, verse 12, or chapter 20, verse 8, chapter 21, verse 8, chapter 18, verse 2. Look at Revelations 18:2, boy. That was pretty big. 1 John 2:18, Thessalonians 2:18. Especially when you get down to into your Old Testament and start running it. Just verse 8, a lot of verse 18s will freak you out. Numbers 21, verse 8. The reason why God had them put a snake up on top of the pole and look at it is because if they could see the snake, they'd step away from it. And by seeing the snake, they wouldn't pick that snake up. That way they wouldn't get snake bit. That way they could keep from falling into that sin that caused them to lose so many lives to all those snake bites. These preachers are not preachers chosen by God. They're taught by the precept of men. And the hireling cares not for the flock. Anyone that's ever taken money, passed an offering plate, they're in danger because blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth. And he who leads into captivity must go into captivity. He who kills by the sword must die by the sword. Now Moses committed murder, and so did King David, and they did not die by the sword. So God's not talking about that. He's talking about the sword, his word. And if you pervert and mislead someone into hell with his truth, and you pervert that truth and mislead them into hell, then you got to go there too. And that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, not suicide. A lot of children out there taking their lives, and preachers make people think their kid went to hell. Man, God's more understanding, merciful, and loving than that. Just because a child took their own life out of despair and loneliness, and pain, and suffering, and depression doesn't mean that child went to hell. It's not God. That's not blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. God's got your child. And that preacher that's telling you otherwise, perverting the word, he's the one who's got to worry about going into captivity. Because he's stealing your kindness from helping someone else. They make you think just because you passed through a few dollars into an offering plate, you've done your duty. Not true. No preacher in the Bible ever took money. Paul didn't either. They gave Paul money to go somewhere and preach, not as payment. When he got there, he worked. professional tent maker by trade. Never took money. Christ didn't take money. Told the rich man, go sell what you got and give it to the poor, then come follow me, because he wanted that rich man to know and understand how God works through you to someone else and reciprocates that. And together you feel a need and you become one. The Lord's Supper wasn't eaten in one place. Paul told you that. He said, freely I've given to you what's been freely given to me. Joel Osteen. Freely. You can call a preacher up. God says to in Timothy, those that sin. I don't consider Joel Osteen a preacher. He's a thief, professional panhandler with Jimmy Swaggart and Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland, if Jesus Christ had such a wealthy ministry, why didn't Judas just keep the money box? Seems to me he would have made a lot more money just holding that money box since he was controlling it and taking out of it anyway. 30 pieces of silver wouldn't have been nothing to him, right? These preachers pay themselves. They lie. They're professional panhandlers. Sunday Sabbath tier, offering plate bandits, paycheck preaching panhandlers. They know nothing about God. No, they don't know how tough Christ was. He wasn't a sissy. You're not to make pictures of anything in heaven. It forms a graven image. People can pervert those. Christ was a warrior. He could make you feel like a punk, but he didn't. Dude was bowled up and yoked, man. He was sitting there carrying logs and lathing those logs with his stepdaddy Joseph. And when he threw those tables around, that money off those tables in the temples twice, didn't nobody put no hands on him. They were scared because dude was hot. He wasn't being so much of a pacifist right then, was he? Christ ain't no sissy. These people got you thinking he is. Anyway, we love y'all. We'll tell you about 1:8 again. About 147, we got some awesome graphics to show you. They don't lie. They speak for themselves if you look. But the world doesn't want you to look. The preachers don't want you to see this. Because that 8th day, the 7th year is the year of rest for the land. The 8th is the year of sowing. Look at Jeroboam. He moved the 7th to the 8th also. And God's 7th has no end. Jesus freed you from the 8th so you could get back to the 7th. He knew this was going to happen. We'll show you how all that does happen. It's awesome. And I'm not making any of it up. It's all right there. Your preachers don't know, though, because they don't know God. You have to know who Christ is. You have to walk with the dude. And he is my personal friend. We do hang out a lot. And the dude is bad to the bone. Love you.